Hey there, this is Terry Thomas, and welcome to Terry's Next Chapter. And in this video, I want to talk about what I call the art of puttering. I'm a person who loves gentle and easy productivity. It's something I have explored my whole life. And that's exactly what puttering is. I love to putter. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I've kind of created an art form around it. So I wanted to share that with you, why I think it works, how it can help you, and what it looks like for me. So Merriam-Webster defines puttering as the act of moving aimlessly or to work at random. And I do think there's this connotation of puttering as it's just aimless, you don't really get anything done, you're just, fiddling around or whatever. And sure, that can be puttering. But the way I define puttering might be just a little bit different. Now, I do want to put a disclaimer out there. As I've said in other videos, I'm at a stage of life where I am no longer raising my kids. I do live alone with my three cats who may pop up once in a while, whoever knows. But anyways, I am in a space in my life where I have room to experiment with this, to really putter to my heart's content. I do work full time. So for the most part, I putter on days off, but um this is the main way I do what I have to do in my life. And I recognize that if you have a family, if you're in the throes of a really busy lifestyle, I have been there. I've been a single working mom. I know what that's like. And I know that you probably need more structure. What I think though is maybe it's something to experiment when you do have a couple of hours of more open time to see how it feels, because I find that I get so much more done without pressure, because I have been the type of person that struggles a bit with perfectionism. I don't know if that's you, but that is definitely me. So when I set myself a goal, sometimes I get in my own head or I self-sabotage. I if I can't do it perfectly, I might procrastinate, those kinds of things that I've struggled with. And if you are somebody who might struggle with some of those things, puttering could be good for you, because what it does is it kind of just takes the pressure off. So it just really it relieves the overwhelm, or like that it's such a big thing. And so I'll tell you how I use it, but first I want to talk about this idea. There's a Japanese word of kaizen. Okay, kaizen means continual improvement, which in and of itself sounds like it could be overwhelming, but but it can be used as a way to take small steps that yield big results, as they say. It can, you can use it to, to it's not like dabbling. It's more like taking the small steps that become habits, that over time, as you're doing things, that they actually have found that that's more helpful than just, say, having one project where you're just going to overhaul everything. Now that might work for some people. I don't know. That's not really worked for me very often. Maybe before, once, I don't know. But I do know what has definitely been more effective when I've wanted to make changes or wanted to make shifts, is to start with a small change and then make it a habit, and then what happens is momentum starts to grow. It starts to take on a life of its own, and it's just energizing. So I wanted to really put that in there, and I will do a future video about Kaizen, go more into the theory of it and how you can really use it in maybe different areas in your life if you want more structure with it. But that's kind of at the heart for me of puttering. So the way puttering looks for me, so if I have, say, an open-ended weekend or a day or even a week, like right now I work in school, so I'm on summer break. I putter a lot now and I love it. It's how I'm getting so much done. So basically I'll have an idea. Let's just say I have a weekend and I don't have a lot going on that weekend. I haven't made a lot of plans, and that is the strategy for me. I have found that I like a lot of open-endedness in my schedule, and I have given myself permission for that. Again, just to repeat, I know I don't have that busy lifestyle anymore, even though I have, but I do like to create that. It takes so much pressure off. Anyway, so if I if I say I have one of those weekends where I know I don't have a lot to do, but I'll have an idea. So let's say I might have one cleaning project I want to get done, one organizational project I want to get done, like a decluttering, and maybe let's say a creative project, okay? And I'll go in the weekend and I'll have just this idea. It's not like a structure. I know some people say to calendar some stuff, and that does work for people. That doesn't work for me. And so part of me wanting to do this video is to say that there are other ways of being productive than the standard, oh, you got to calendar everything, you got to structure, you got to push. You don't necessarily. This is an encouragement for you to find what works for you, because I have found that this puttering actually works for me. So like I said, I go into a weekend and I have an idea of what I want to do. Okay. And so in the morning, I get up. I am an early riser. I do my little morning. I have a morning routine, the stuff I do, how I eat breakfast and feed my cats and make my bed, the little things that I like to do, maybe a little 5-minute meditation, things like that, eat some breakfast. But once I've done that, a lot of times early morning, I like to start with a lower key activity. This is just me. I probably usually crochet. I might do that. I often have, or not often, I always have crochet projects going. And if you're a crocheter or a knitter, you're probably the same. You always have something going, right? So I do that. But then what happens is I start feeling like this desire within myself that I want to be more active. So then I'm like, okay, so what's the next thing I want to do? And very often I'll want to dive into one of my a cleaning project that I know that I want to do. And I'll if I'm going to do that, I'll have my audiobook set up. And actually, I usually listen to audiobook while I crochet too. This is how I get so much reading done. If you've seen any other of my other videos, I love to read. Anyways, I set up my audiobook. For you, it might be a podcast, a playlist that energizes you, whatever. And then I clean for an hour or two or whatever strikes my fancy. And then when I start feeling kind of bored with that, I'll be like, okay, what do I want to do next? And then maybe I want to work on a different creative project that I have. So what it is it's a way that I've developed that allows me to be more led intuitively by what feels good to me in the moment. I know this probably sounds woo-woo for a lot of people and it wouldn't work for them, and that is okay. I am speaking right now to people who don't resonate, or who the hustle culture or like being really structured doesn't work for, and you feel like maybe there's something wrong with you, because that's where I've been. Like, I've been in a place where, as a procrastinating happens, then I'm beating myself up, and that doesn't feel good. So finding ways that actually works with who you are, and that's what I always encourage, is the best way to get stuff done, because you want to honor you in your own system, right? And so that's what puttering has opened up for me, is this ability to get things done intuitively, honoring myself and what I want to do and what feels good to me in the moment. So that's what puttering is. That's what I'm talking about when I say the art of puttering and how it's helped me. I encourage you to give it a try, do an experiment, especially if you're somebody who does feel like, might beat yourself up for some procrastination and have a hard time. See what it feels like to take an afternoon and just open it up, and no pressure, but just maybe have an idea or two of what you'd like to do, and see how it feels for you. Because I have found really developing this art of puttering, as I say, has really been life changing. And I get so much more done by just taking pressure off and opening up my schedule, not necessarily structuring it so much. And yeah, it's been so helpful for me. So I'd love to hear from you if you have any questions about tips that I might have that I haven't thought of talking about, anything, maybe we can expand on this. Like I said, in a future video, I do want to focus on more specific Kaizen, because there is a whole structure to that, and that can be super helpful. And like I said, where I get this from, what really gave me this idea, But yeah, so ask me questions, or if you do an experiment, let me know how it goes for you. Yeah, and I would love, like I said, I'd love to hear from you on this journey, and I'll see you in the next vid.
Oh, hi. My sidekick actually has something to say.